show. Is it a sandwich? If I called a hot dog a sandwich, do you think that you'd be fine with it? If not, then why? Let's bust this wide. Mary, Carrie, Kelly, Matt, oh my, is it a sandwich? Well, let's decide.
Be it the Fenway Frank or the Icelandic Pilsa, the humble hot dog, like the mighty pizza, shares a regional diversity seldom seen in foods around the world. This season on Order Up, we discuss what you like to slip between your buns. Delicious hot dog on Order Up.
Did we suddenly become like R-rated? Slide between your buns. Jeez, Matt.
Oh, goodness, Matthew Ardill, watch your mouth. My goodness.
It's just getting harder and harder to stay PG,
Wowzers. All right, well, let me just get myself a cool shower. Listeners, it's Kelly. We're here for season 10 of Order Up. We've done 10 seasons of this puppy. Carrie, Matt, Mary, how were you celebrating the night before? I'm assuming you did have individual parties to celebrate the upcoming 10th season. I had my birthday. It just coincided.
I pounded more cake,
more cake.
Pounded more cake. Nice.
Yeah,
Carrie, Mary.
My husband bought hot dogs and hot dog buns. And we have them in the house, and they're my hot dogs are all natural, non-nitrated, because I get the migraines. So and they're still sitting in the freezer because I think my husband expects me to cook it, and we all know how well that goes. So you may not get the hot dog. It's fine. Maybe, yeah. So that's what's happening at my house. But I'm very excited because this is kind of like a sequel to a hamburger sandwich. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Carrie, are the hot dogs in the fridge? Have you had any?
We do have hot dogs in the house almost all the time, just because my husband sometimes will, for a quick meal, he'll like cut them up, like, microwave and cut them up, put them in a salad just for some protein. I spent my night before season 10, because he's not the greatest cook. I spent my night before season 10 celebrating all things 10. So I celebrated my fingers. I celebrated my toes. My son is 10 plus 2. So we danced around a bit. And now it's season 10, which is bonkers. I didn't think we'd make it past season 1. I thought, how much can we talk about this?
Ye of little faith.
I have learned over these 10 seasons, never doubt Kelly Zimnikis when she has an idea. She's a
or the
stealer.
Internet.
Well, yeah.
Or the Internet, apparently. I like that. I am 4 10s and 7.
4 10s and 7 years ago, Kelly was born.
Exactly. But no, what a great way to celebrate a birthday, to gather with everyone and our 2 guests today, which I'm super excited to get to in a second, to ask the question that people usually will ask, is a hot dog a sandwich? You don't usually get, is a hamburger a sandwich? But we're going to kick things off going around the host to get your opinion, friends. I will begin by saying, fuck no, it's not a sandwich. Carrie?
All right, now we have gone into explicit territory. I'm going to say no at the moment. As always, I reserve the right to change my mind because I'm sure our guests have info. Yeah.
Matt?
Well, the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council say no, and they're the authorities, so I'm going to have to defer to them.
Goodness.
Yeah, there actually is that council. It does exist. Mary.
All right. There's rules.
There's always rules.
Now, I'm going to say this, and we'll see if I change my mind, but there are rules. If a hot dog itself is in a bun, and I like mine with mustard and relish, and it stands alone, that to me is not a sandwich.
Okay.
However, because it's a bun and not 2 pieces of bread. However, my grandmother, my Irish Catholic grandmother, used to cut the hot dogs in half grill them on the oven or on the hibachi, and then she'd put it in 2 pieces of bread. And that, my friends,
That's a sandwich.
Okay.
Boom. There it is.
I have a
Because it's
question.
2 separate pieces of bread.
Hang on, though. Hang
it's
on.
the connectivity.
When we were at summer
This can be a
camp,
hot season.
listen, Mare, when we were at summer camp, sometimes we would get to roast hot dogs over the fire. And then they would hand us 1 piece of bread, okay, white bread. You stick the hot dog in, you put your mustard or whatever, and you kind of do a roly and eat it. It's still bread, but are you saying because of the shape, it's not a sandwich?
No,
That's not a sandwich.
It's got to have 2 pieces of bread. The roly is a sad excuse for the buns that the camp counselors were too cheap to go out and buy it at like a Stop and Shop, because I'm from Boston, or buy it at a Pacifica's in LA. They were too cheap, and they said, it's fine, we'll use the Wonder Bread. No one will know the difference. And I was the kid that knew the difference. So,
okay,
the rest of
fair enough.
So, Mary, are you saying yes and no?
Yes and no.
Oh God. Okay. I keep track of this.
I'm going to have to. We're going to need a bookkeeper on this one.
I'm not the one making it complicated for a change.
Well, friends, it's season 10. Let's get into whatever hot diggity dog facts Matt has grilled up. Sorry, Matt.
In 1994, the American Meat Institute, which is a real thing, I didn't make that up, they established the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council, made up of hot dog manufacturers across America. They've gone a long way into codifying hot dog etiquette, like you dress the dog, not the bun, or a standard hot dog should never take more than 5 bites. As well, they do identify more scientific data, like the city of Los Angeles consumes more hot dogs than any other city in the United States of America.
Wow.
30 million pounds per year, followed by New York and Dallas.
I'm shocked.
So, yeah, I would have thought New York would have been number 1, but LA, they enjoy a good Frank. In fact, Americans love hot dogs so much, on Independence Day, they will eat 150 million dogs, enough to stretch from LA to DC.
What?
Nationally, per person, they consume 70 per year. I'm sure there's somebody like somewhere doing a lot more heavy lifting than most people, but 70 per year per person, or 27.35 kilograms of hot dog meat per person per year. Germany comes in at number 2 with 21 kilograms, and Czech Republic checking in at 19 kilograms. So, yeah. Almost like 16 kilograms dividing the nearest competition nationally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
In fact, hot dogs are loved so much. They are one of the few interstellar foods, along with Tang and the mythological freeze-dried ice cream. They are authorized for use on missions by NASA, and they were, in fact, brought on the 1969 Apollo 11 mission and eaten by Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin.
Wow.
They were consumed as thermostabilized frankfurters with thermostabilized cheddar cheese spread, which is not technically Cheese Whiz, though it's pretty darn close. Now, much to do is made of freeze-dried space ice cream, the freeze-dried pucks that you'll get at edutainment facilities. They are, in fact, a scam. While developed for space, it was never actually given to astronauts. The only mission where it was listed was the Apollo 7 mission. Walt Cunningham, the last surviving member, said it was not on board.
Wow.
So freeze-dried ice cream is a myth. It's a lie. But space dogs are real.
That space dog sounds like a superhero.
Yes.
Space dog. It's like a hot dog with a little cape.
Sounds like a Mel Brooks film. All right.
It does, yeah.
I'm hoping that they brought brats.
Yes.
That's funnier if you look at it on a piece of paper. Wow. Well, this is going to be an interesting season. I also wonder, will we ever find out what's in a hot dog? I hope not. No one's meant to. No one is meant to. It's season 10. It's time for episode 1 of Order Up. Yay! Matt, Mary's introducing. I'm not drunk, everyone. It was my birthday week ago. Mary, who are our guests today?
Well, everybody, we are in for a treat. My inner child is freaking out. I'm in fandom at this moment. I am going to tell you, though, our podcast was going in a way because both of these actors were in a very family-friendly show. And we kind of, anyway, our first guest, you love her as Nasty Nellie Olson from Little House on the Prairie. Thank you very, very much. She's listed as America's #1 TV bitch by Vanity Fair. And everyone, drum roll, please. And I'm blushing as I say this. And Dean Butler, everybody knows him. Can we all say it together? He was Laura Ingalls Wilder's love interest. Thank you very, very much. And you remember what his name was, Carrie? What was his name? Yes. Yes.
I have all the books sitting back here. I was obsessed with the books. Yeah.
I mean, even I know that. No, it was a lot.
I just want to make sure. He was one of my crushes. I will say I'm blushing more than when I met John Schneider. That's another story. There is 12. So here's something. This was kind of dramedy on Little House on the Prairie. Dean Butler portrayed the love of Laura Ingalls Wilder. Well, Ingalls then, life. The 12-year difference in age was less of a problem than it is in today's society. Together, the both of these beautiful people, Alison and Dean, will represent a full and insightful interview covering 10 years of the hit series. Everybody, Alison Arngrim and Dean Butler. Yay!
Shut up.
I know.
Is Alison our first repeat guest?
Yes.
Yes.
Yay, Alison.
You are. Well done.
Yay.
10 points for Alison.
Yes.
Either I'm having a hot flash or Almanzo is here. I can't. I love you too, but I'm like,
Oh my God.
Anyway.
Oh my. And we're only miles apart, Mary.
That's true.
Only miles apart.
So they're here, and Matt is going to interview you guys, which is going to be an interesting task because of the fact that are you going to ask questions twice, or is it going to be a group discussion? I don't know.
You guys
I think
can
we'll have a bit of banter. We'll discuss.
We'll figure it out.
I think I now know why.
About hot dogs.
I want to talk about hot dogs because I have a hot dog with me, and we need to discuss hot dogs. But
I love you,
I want to
Alison.
defend. I have to defend. I'm always going to have to defend Dean. It was 12-year age difference, forsooth and for shame. Laura and Almanzo in real life were only 10 years apart, and Dean and Melissa are only 8 years apart. So
8
you
years
can chill
apart.
the 12 years.
Right.
They're even less apart.
It may
than
have
the
looked like
actual.
12 years, but it was really only 8.
Yes. It wasn't that horrible. Less than the real ones. The real ones.
Yes,
I
it
have a
was
hot
less than the
dog,
real
and it's a damn sandwich. I'm sorry, it is.
Alison.
See, I like the 2 pieces of bread distinction.
Not yeah.
You know,
But
but a hot dog is also a hot dog if it's meat. Well, okay. The question is it a hot dog if there is no bun? I mean, it's
Yeah.
In that case, maybe it's a wiener.
Oh my God, Matt.
Yeah.
Matt,
That's
wash your mouth out, Matt.
I'm just joking.
Well,
Wieners, what's
show.
between your
Alison's showing off her ketchup.
Is this
All
homemade?
right, let's get to the question.
as I often do, I must defer to the French. If you go to France and you go to the restaurants where they'll say, we have snack, meaning they're open for not just lunch and dinner, they have snacks. We have snack, and the burger's very popular. When they have hot dog, it clearly says on the sign, hot dog sandwich.
Oh,
Okay.
What?
All right.
That's interesting.
Sandwich.
All
International.
right.
Is that how it translates? Is that how they describe it translates from French to
That's
English?
what they call it. They could just call it a hot dog, but they do not. They say
Okay.
hot dog sandwich
Hmm.
in
Call
every
it a hot dog,
restaurant.
yeah.
So there.
Well, and in Los Angeles, between Dodger Stadium with Dodger dogs and Pink's, there are
Right.
so many hot dogs served
Right.
in Los Angeles every year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right,
Well-
Matt, get in there.
Bring it
While
on.
Allison is dressing her dog,
I have, onions, relish, and ketchup. I'm not a mustard person.
Oh
but I
my
do
God,
like
that
ketchup.
looks
I have
good.
my ketchup is not touching
looks
my
good.
relish and being a little ADHD there, but there you go.
our first question for this season is, what is the best sandwich? So, what's your favorite sandwich on a any kind?
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be
Yeah.
on a bun.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be on a bun. I was thinking about this before I logged in, and I was thinking my favorite sandwich of all time was served at a place called the Lakeside Deli in Oakland, California. It was an Italian deli, and they served a poor boy that was slathered in mustard. I mean, you could wade into the mustard with this sandwich on this roll, and the salami and the bologna and the little lettuce and Swiss cheese, and oh my God, this sandwich was unbelievable. We ate them constantly. Once discovering poor boy sandwiches, I was totally cooked. Yeah, I was all the way in. So, I mean, there are other sandwiches, but Allison, what's your favorite sandwich?
Well, my favorite, I'm a real fan of the turkey on rye with just lettuce and Swiss. However, I think the ultimate sandwich really has to be the grilled cheese in its simplicity and yet variety.
Yes.
Because you
I
can
like
just slap
that.
2 pieces of American, on some bread, or you can do Swiss and fancy cheese and add things.
Right.
The best grilled cheese sandwich I've ever had is on sourdough or rye
Yummy.
with the Cougar Gold cheese that you give as Christmas gift. Allison gives the most incredible cheese from Washington State University, from their dairy division at Washington State. It is incredible cheddar cheese, and it makes an extraordinary cheddar cheese, a grilled cheese sandwich. Unbelievable. It has a bite to it that's really wonderful.
You can get other flavors, but the classic Cougar Gold cheddar is the best one. I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
And it's sort of a white cheddar. It's not a yellow cheddar. It's a white cheddar, and it is amazing. Amazing on a grilled cheese sandwich.
The good thing about grilled cheese too is you can make a really small adjustment, and it can just really elevate it. Just put a tomato on at the right time, or a little bit of mayo while making it, and it's a completely different experience.
Cranberry with cheddar in a grilled cheese.
I would think
I'm learning so much.
Great adjustment to a
Oh, but cranberry was Swiss, because I'm thinking of the turkey again. Cranberry on your turkey with your Swiss cheese.
There you go.
Oh, it's another good grilled cheese. A latke grilled cheese.
I knew you were going to say that, because you do talk about it a lot.
You put the latkes as your bread and then the cheese in the bed. You've got to run from LA to Manhattan.
Oh, no.
Not Manhattan Beach, but like Manhattan to work it off. But yeah.
So there's this one place by my house that sells hamburgers, but they have 2 grilled cheese sandwiches instead of buns.
What?
And I'm just like, that's too much. That's too far.
No, that's just
yeah.
That's like 1,000-calorie sandwich right there, or more.
That seems 400 grams of
like a
fat.
1,500-calorie sandwich.
Holy moly.
The arteries are slamming shut at the description.
Me too. Oh my God.
Look, see, as you eat, when you eat the hot dog, when you eat the hot dog and then the bun, there's less bun. And look, it is a sandwich, because now the bun is like totally. It's a freaking sandwich, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Speaking of just like an over-the-counter hot dog, Costco's hot. And do you have Costco?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think the Costco hot dog is really pretty terrific. And if you you can also do it
So
as
good.
sausage, which even makes it that whole treatment with the buns and the relish and the mustard even better. Oh, it's great.
It's a viable date option if anyone's dating. Telling my boyfriend Adam, take me to Costco.
Every time my wife goes to Costco, she brings me home a hot dog because she's like, I don't want you there because you will get in the way. But I know you want a hot dog, so I brought you this.
Okay, that's love, Matt.
Yeah.
That is romantic.
Oh, man.
Well, that brings us to question number 2. Would you eat a pineapple mayo sandwich? This is something that Kelly found on the internet. Kelly, maybe you can describe this for us.
What kind of bread?
Gross. I found it on the internet, and much like I did find the peanut butter and sriracha, peanut butter and pickle. Allison or Dean, would you make that for yourself?
No, that's probably not a combo I would think about. Not that it wouldn't be great. It's just not a combo I'd think about.
I'm more into
Is
the
this
pineapple
grilled
than the mayo.
pineapple?
Yeah, what's the pie? Is it like a grilled ring or is it like just chunks?
It did not say anything. I think this was, if I'm not mistaken, not that I'm throwing the chefs at Bon Appetit magazine under the bus. I think this was a Bon Appetit suggestion from the test kitchen of here's a
they just
funky
do weird
thing.
stuff though. Like they just mess around for the sake of messing around. Sometimes.
I like Allison's question, is it a ring? Because then you could sort of grill it. And then
Yes.
That's the whole thing.
then sort of an interesting
Maybe on a brioche.
and flavors.
Right?
Yeah.
Because grilled pineapple rings
Maybe?
you put on sandwiches. If I do one of those mahi burgers, it's going to be a grilled pineapple thing on that. So okay, brioche bun, you're in the right track because it's not going to go on rye bread. That's not going to happen.
No.
So
No, this is on a whole wheat.
King's Hawaiian bread, Hawaiian pineapple.
Yes.
Ring of pineapple, grilled, and a mayo. I'm going, ooh, mayo. What if it was something else? What if it was like Devonshire cream?
A spiced mayo?
Or no, something
Devonshire
sweeter.
brie, you said?
Devonshire cream?
Devonshire cream you get with scones at tea
Devonshire
parties,
cream.
the sweet
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah.
Or like a sweet poppy seed dressing. Poppy seed dressing, brioche bun, grilled pineapple slice. Yes, we do it.
I feel like Allison and I are the only two who are going to do this.
I'll join you to try one if we can do it all together.
But you know what?
Absolutely.
Not regular mayo.
It's
Okay.
No.
If there was chicken, stop for a second. If it was a Hawaiian bun, like King's Hawaiian, you had mayo on the bottom of the bread. And I'm not talking Miracle Whip, everybody. No. Like a mayo, then a grilled chicken, then the pineapple, then a little mayo on top. I would enjoy that.
No, I think that would be good.
Yeah, maybe a nice garlic aioli.
Maybe.
Pineapple? No.
I don't know. Don't be so judgy
Barbecue
there.
sauce. Barbecue sauce.
Oh,
Ranch.
Allison, there we go.
And teriyaki would be good.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. That would work. The teriyaki would work.
That's a very known combination.
Yeah.
of flavors.
That would be good.
Yeah. I think this is how the pineapple pizza was born, everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not something
It's a Canadian.
naturally buy, but
Canadian.
it's good if you have it.
It's very
So good.
Canadian.
It's
yeah.
Canadian, Dean.
Canadian, because it was Canadian.
Invented in
It's
Detroit.
not bacon. It's Canadian bacon.
in
It was
Windsor,
Canadian
across
bacon and
Detroit.
pizza.
In Windsor. Yeah, a guy,
I
a
first
Greek
met-
chef, I believe, who liked Chinese food and wanted to put those flavors on a pizza, created the pineapple pizza.
I first had pineapple pizza in Edmonton. Yes.
Oh,
it didn't exist
see?
in LA. It was the 80s. And
Yeah,
I had
homeland.
pineapple and Canadian bacon was one of the options at the pizza parlor in Edmonton, Alberta, where I was doing dinner theater.
I can just, it sort of shocks me that you could find fresh pineapple in Edmonton. I mean, that's just
It's not fresh at all.
Fresh and quotes.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was a can of bowl. All right.
Yeah.
Like the only reason Hawaiian pizza is called Hawaiian pizza is because the canned pineapple he was using was Hawaiian brand canned pineapple. So that's actually where it gets its name from.
Okay.
Canadian bacon.
Mhm.
Extra sauce. You need extra sauce to make it work.
Isn't Canadian bacon just sort of sliced ham?
I call it sad ham in my stand-up. It's sad ham.
I don't like it.
Okay.
For any Canadians listening, and they're like, "What does Alison mean by Canadian bacon?" If you ask a Canadian about Canadian bacon, they will talk about the John Candy 1990 film Canadian Bacon. We call it pea meal or what's the other one? Back bacon.
Yeah.
Back bacon, yeah.
We don't say Canadian bacon.
I don't like it.
Okay. Oh, that's
It's like
interesting.
Lunchables.
It's
It's little
dry.
circles. It's
Yes.
like Lunchables
It's
ham.
circles.
Lunchable size
right.
ham is what it is. Yeah.
Sad
It's
ham.
quite tasty.
Sad ham.
Bad ham.
I like
You
that.
said sad. I thought you said sag ham.
Yeah, it's got all of his credits. You know, it's union.
It's in the union. Yeah.
I went to Screen Actors Guild, and then I went to menopause. It's about menopause. Sag ham. I'm having saggy ham. All right.
Oh my God.
I'm
I
sorry.
mean, if any country would have union ham, it would be Canada.
Just picturing little
Jack
tiny
ham.
pigs with picket signs outside. You know.
Got a moose on
Yeah.
it.
I only
No.
use sag ham.
Yeah. Our next question, you two can consult. This is sort of a bit of trivia.
Ooh.
True or false? Toronto's Winter Garden Theatre had its walls cleaned using raw dough during its reopening.
I'm going to say yes.
I mean, why would I question that?
All right. Well, I'm going to throw it to our expert here. She once worked at the Winter Garden Theatre. Kelly?
I did. It's 100% true, everybody. The Elgin Winter Garden Theater is the last remaining operational double-decker theater on the planet. And the top part, the Winter Garden, they closed for a really long time. They only used the Elgin Theater and had shows like Cats and whatnot. Anyways, when they reopened it and they were trying to clean up the joint, and it's one of the most beautiful places, definitely give it a look. The rumor that we were told as ushers was that it was Wonder Bread dough. And they wetted it and rolled it up and they cleaned the dirt off the walls.
With bread?
They didn't have a sponge.
Absolutely.
They couldn't
It was
find
about-
a cloth.
No.
Delicate.
Bread. And I've talked,
Yep. Wallpaper. You clean wallpaper with bread.
Really?
yeah. I've talked to a couple of animator friends and they apparently use the dough. It's the best cleaning product
Yes.
to not ruin the
Ideally,
paint.
Bread.
Okay, because
Bread
antique
is a cleaning
surfaces.
product.
Yes.
What?
Bread
Wonder
and dough.
White
and dough.
bread just sort of evaporates in your hand when you get it
You
wet.
wad
How
it-
do you
wad it
deal
up.
with it?
You
You
want
wad
it
it
really
up.
not too wet. Like with underbread, you can just wad it up. Don't you have to wet it. And then dough works when you're dealing with an extremely delicate antique surface. You can't whip out the Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, which would be the sensible choice. But you can't because you're dealing with some 100-year-old wallpaper. And when you're cleaning wallpaper, and you can look up how to clean wallpaper, and at some point it'll talk about taking dough or bread and using that. It'll absorb grease and it will take the dirt off without harming original coloring or wallpaper. Why the hell do I know this? I don't even
This is
know.
our question.
Why do you know that?
I
think Dean's
actually
head
am
is
full
gonna
of
fall off.
household helpful hints. If you need a stain taken out of any of your clothes, call me. Call me. If you have
right.
stains because you go, I can't get this out. The dry cleaner couldn't get it out. Freaking call me. I will get it out.
Wow.
Oh my God.
That's
now.
bizarre. That, I
you
mean,
go.
I know Alison to be, very, very diverse in all of the things that she does, but bread on wallpaper.
Yeah.
You talk about obscure. How do you know that? Like, she just
Yeah.
does.
It was part of my training, but I can't speak for Allison.
Wow.
How many loaves of bread did it take to clean the winter garden?
That I don't know. I don't think I asked specifics. But yeah, it's
of bread.
what's that?
A big truckload to
Oh,
clean the winter garden.
Yeah. It's an indoor English garden. It is one of the prettiest theaters
Wow.
I've
And
ever worked in.
And it's haunted.
Yes,
haunted is all
it's
get
very
out.
haunted.
Now,
That's
you
another.
say this double-decker theater was Cats in that theater or the theater below it?
They had Cats in the Elgin. They just gutted the entire space, and it worked for Cats. And the staging of Cats, it just
I don't think Cats works under any circumstances. But
My 12-year-old will be very
Neither
upset.
do I. Cats, all of Cats. Cats
I've
need.
never seen it.
It's no.
it is
I have
after the first
post-traumatic
5 minutes, it's an absolute snooze fest. It
It's
is
horrible.
just like,
No.
oh my God, this is
No,
boring.
it's
It's
awful.
what
There's
happens
no
when you get a bunch
plot.
of horny, coked out Englishmen in a room. What do we need? We need 20-year-olds in tights wandering around and
that part of
striking.
it works.
Who doesn't?
That's the good part.
The show was a dancer killer in
Yes.
New York. For years.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
tell you, when I used to represent actors on Broadway in contracts through Equity, I had to meet with the cast of Cats for them to agree for an Actors Fund, which is a free show for Actors Fund. It's a wonderful program. And I'm telling you, this is before they all needed to perform. All of the actors were embodying the Cats. I had actors calling me before that. I'm not kidding you. They were calling me and going, and then grabbing a pen like a cat would. I'm not kidding you. So I knew at that moment, I mean, I've been an actor for years, but you would never catch me walking around the theater with Cats. I'm sorry. I'm all for method, but really.
Or Starlight Express, did they all pretend to be choo-choo trains in their off hours?
I don't know. I didn't represent them, but the Cats, they frightened me.
That's bonkers.
So Mary, you were an equity rep?
A contract rep, yep. Back in the 90s.
Wow.
Yeah, so I made sure everybody got paid if there was television and film in their face.
Oh God, we went through a war when Into the Woods was going to be shot for PBS, and it was like, oh God, that's just a that
Wait,
was a
are you
nasty
in that
thing.
PBS version?
No, I was not because I was not original cast.
Got it.
I did 4 of the 8 performances that week.
Oh,
But because they were all shot. But no, Chuck Wagner came back and did those 2 or 3 shows, and he is obviously in the show. They always want the original company,
right?
It made us all think, what do we chop liver? I mean, we're here, we're doing the show 8 times a week. We are the show now. It is the Broadway show, but no, it's not. From PBS's perspective, it wasn't a Broadway show unless it was the original company, which I understand. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
But at the time, that was a little insulting, I think. For a lot
of course. I agree.
Yeah, but small thing. Although I can tell you, and this is big digression from food, but being on the stage 4 times with Bernadette Peters and Joanna Gleason was a very different experience.
Yes,
they
for sure.
were awesome.
I've seen that.
They really were.
That it was a tape back in the day, but I've seen that so many times.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, they were
so many times. Yeah, it's such a great show. Yeah.
Okay, back to food.
Yeah, 2 more questions and then a bonus question. So next question, another true or false. You can consult. You can discuss. True or false? Subway's most popular sub, the Italian BMT, is named after a literal subway line.
Sure. I mean, that's never a sandwich that I've gotten at Subway, and I do a lot of Subway turkey, and I love Subway sandwiches. But I'm going to say sure. Why not?
Alison?
I haven't eaten, but BMT. It's Boston
what is
Metro. Maybe. Okay. Yeah. That could be a thing.
Elliot?
It's true. It's true, friends. It's named after the Brooklyn Manhattan Transit, which no longer exists, but it did from, I think, like the 1920s to 40s in New York. But yeah, that's what it's named after.
Yep. Yeah. It's a history lesson and a sandwich all at the same time.
So healthy for your brain.
I wish Subway could present better in the store.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when you go into what's it, Jersey Mike's, they do such a they do a
I
great
love Jersey
job of
Mike's.
presenting the way they make the sandwich.
Right.
Subway does not make it as
What's that?
appealing, and yet the sandwich is good.
It's a
What do we
Jersey
have
Mike's
here?
cup.
Jersey Mike. Yeah,
I
think
much
Jersey
prefer
Mike's is
Jersey
great.
Mike's myself.
We have one now in Toronto, Carrie and Matt. It's at Union Station.
Oh, I know. I've walked by a few times.
It's good. You got to go in and have
Well,
it.
let's go. Let's go.
The lineup is out the door every time I go by, so I gotta.
Okay.
It's taken
So
the shine
good.
off the Shake Shack because the second Shake Shack in Canada opened up.
Mhm.
There's one at
First.
Yorkdale.
Shake Shack's a little pretentious. I'm sorry.
It's-
I was really enthralled with it when it first, before when it was just in New York, but then when it opened here, after you could get it on Uber Eats, I was just like, it's just a burger. It's just a burger.
They do a good job, but it's like, come on. It's a little pricey and a little small.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on.
Right.
It's like a burger. I mean, I love an In-N-Out burger. I mean, In-N-Out
I
burger.
still have
They're
never
great.
had one.
That's
they're
they
re-
do a good
they're
job.
not in Canada, but they're
No.
so
Really
good.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
More food.
Well, this brings us to our ultimate question.
Oh.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
All right, here we go.
So, yeah.
Yes. Damn
Wait
it.
a minute. Haven't we covered that?
Yes, I was going to say, this is, we're going back to
French say
covered
it's a
territory
sandwich.
here.
I say it's a sandwich. It is a sandwich. I say.
Allison says yes. Dean?
You know what? I have hot dogs as pigs in a blanket at the holidays. That's not a sandwich.
Okay.
A hot dog can be so many things. But sure, for the purposes of this conversation, sure, hot dog's a sandwich.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, with episode 1, we already have 7 votes.
That's order
Very
of math.
double dipped.
Yeah.
No, right now it's leading by 1 point.
No,
Okay,
it's
so this
leading by one. Okay.
This brings up our bonus question, though.
Yes.
What the hell is in a hot dog? And do we want to know? Do
No
we want
one
to know?
really wants to know. I heard you say that. I agree with no one wants to know.
I agree with Dean. No one wants to know.
Yeah.
It's
Allison,
too
I
easy to
like-
think
yeah.
about.
Well, I'm picky. I'll get the turkey or the chicken or the veggie dog. Now,
Okay.
when I was eating the moo cow, though, of course, do you remember when Hebrew National had the best hot dog commercial ever?
Mhm.
Because they would
Yeah.
come on, it was Uncle Sam with a hot dog saying, the government says we can have, and start listing all the disgusting things that were allowable in certain amounts. And then they get, but we at Hebrew National, we answer to a higher authority. And they'd pan up. To
Oh,
the sky.
yes.
Great commercial.
But it's true. It's true. Nathan's does a kosher, very healthy dog, and they do make a turkey one as well as they make.
Okay.
That's Nathan's hot
Ballpark
dog.
Franks is surprisingly good. Ballpark Franks is good. But I checked the ingredients, and they do have non-nitrate, nitrite ones. They have uncured. You can get uncured dogs, which leaves out a whole bunch of the weird chemicals. Generally, your average dog, of course, parts is parts. It is whatever was left over. It's like a pork, beef, bits and pieces combo thing. It's sausage. No one wants to see how sausage is made. It is a form of sausage.
The reason why there's the saying, no one wants to see how the sausage is made.
Is a hot dog a
Exactly.
sausage? Oh.
Yeah.
I 100%.
Yes.
If we had the money for it, there's a Canadian band called the Arrogant Worms, and they do have a song. If we had the money, we'd play it. But they do have a song called "What the Hell's in a Hot Dog," with my favorite line ever. It's the particle board of meat.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Board of meat.
Yeah.
I can't. I just.
But man, I love getting one at a ballpark or after a night where I've had
I
too
like
many
going to the
adult
hot
drinks.
dog stand.
So good.
Toronto has
Yes.
a lot of hot dog stands.
King and John in Toronto
They're really
for me.
good.
Southeast corner of King and John.
Does everyone call it what we call it here, or is that a Toronto
Street
thing?
meat?
Street meat.
Yeah.
I'll say street
It's
meat.
more of a Toronto thing.
Is
I
it a
think.
Toronto thing? Okay.
Yeah.
Mary looks horrified.
No,
That's
I'm a
what
little
it's-
hard. I lived in New York City, and there was one cold winter day that I was going Christmas shopping, and I was starving, and I did have one of those dogs submerged in that water. and I
Mary.
did it, and I regretted it. So I'm just letting you know. I'm sweating because I'm talking about
So
it.
this is why
You
I
haven't
don't.
gotten the hot nuts, have you? You never get the hot nuts.
Yeah, I'm a
That's how
little,
you know you're a tourist.
yeah, I can't.
I have to say, like, I mean, during first year university, there was a hot dog cart, and we could use our meal credits on it. So I would live off of Ernie's dogs out front of my main building. And the thing is, like, Canadian and Toronto street meat in particular is different than New York. I hate a New York hot dog. I do like Nathan's, but the street peddlers, it's just not the same because they boil it, but then they put it on a barbecue, slice it, so you get it cut, like, cooked all the way through, and a bit of char and a toasted bun. And then they have a whole bunch more toppings. Like, you'll have onions and mustard and relish and barbecue sauce and hot sauce and bacon bits. And they used to have cheese. Cheese isn't allowed anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's like
Nice.
Mexican
Not allowed.
mole sauce where they're trying to hide that things have really gone bad.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I had dinner before recording this, but I'm hungry again, everyone.
Yeah, I know.
Oh well.
My husband's gonna want hot dogs.
That's why I made a hot dog. I knew I couldn't get through it without having a hot dog.
You're
We
thinking.
cannot leave this episode though, and Matt, I have to say it. Can you guys give us any information about this reboot? Because we're really wanting to know. Well, I am anyway. I really want to know. Can you tell us?
Scoop-et, I guess. I mean,
Scoop-et.
Birth of the Big One, we all go, it's not a reboot. It's not technically a reboot. It is not like our show. It is not meant to be like our show. It is
It's
not
a readaptation of the book.
Okay.
It's if this was Marvel or Star Wars, I would say it's almost a prequel. Because they're going to go back to the books, and it may even go a little younger than, like, I mean, if they do Big Woods, that's younger than even the pilot when she's in Kansas. I don't know, but they're going back to the books. So if anything, it's like the age she was in the pilot, or possibly younger, but super way back. They're going the way back machine, and they're going to the books. And the history people and the book people are going to go gaga. That's for sure.
Okay.
When Ed Friendly did his Disney version of Little House, he basically took the Little House pilot, the original pilot, and expanded it to 6 hours. And so there was a lot of time, or at least the first 2 hours were spent in the big woods. As as Michael did it, the big woods were the kicking off point.
Right.
And you were gone, and you were immediately on the road to Kansas. I think that we're going to be spending a lot of time in the big woods in this first one, because I think the commitment of the rights holders who control the switch to say this can be done or not be done have a deep commitment to their father's belief in the Little House books as source material for a filmed drama. So I think we're going to see a lot of the big woods. And if it's successful, they're going to work their way through, they'll work their way through as many of the books as they can. And I think what's sort of advantageous about the circumstance that we're in now, and they can really break it up, is, now, we did, the original Little House series, as all television was at that time, was 22 plus episodes a year in our era. Today, if you get 6 to 8 episodes and call it a season, you've got a season. So in that context, I think it's sort of possible to do these books one season at a time. You could drill down on this, but it's, Michael just didn't feel like there was enough action in the books. They're wonderful books. And if you've read the books are a great read. I don't know if there's enough there to do, or to really tell an exciting, moving, ongoing moving story that you need to have to keep an audience from clicking. And, now television by definition has to move so much quicker.
Yeah.
It is a much faster paced medium today than it was when we were doing Little House, which was a one camera film show. I mean, we were sort of comparable to Lawrence of Arabia at times in terms of Not, obviously
Really,
not really, but we were more in that direction than not.
We made a movie every week. We were making a movie every week.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and
So I think
what you
it's
said
I
about
think it's a challenge.
I think we said though about the fewer episodes, because with the streaming, the fewer episodes, our problem too was with like 22 episodes. We'd have, if we stuck to the books, we'd have been in book 8 by like the third year. It would just go and you can't do that with this. If fewer episodes, they can focus. They can stay. We're going to do this book, and now we're going to do this book. They can do that, and that might work.
And the other thing that was that in a long running series, which I think, became obvious enough, is you had to advance the story with the growth of the children.
Right.
The children are aging at a much faster rate relative to the adults on the show. You can stretch an adult experience over a long period of time, but the children are evolving very fast, and the stories have to move to keep up with them.
Right. Yeah.
Wow. I was reading the first one, the Little House in the Big Woods, to my daughter when she was about 6, Canadian child. Reading it. I was obsessed with Laura Ingalls Wilder. I used to imagine she was my friend, and she would come through the wall and play with me at night. Like, I know I can still recite pieces of these books, but I'm reading to my daughter, and Pa is going out to do something, and he gets his gun ready. There's a whole thing about making the bullets, whatever. My Canadian 6-year-old stops me and goes, "Hang on a second. Guns are real?"
Oh,
I know.
God bless Canadian children.
I know. It was such a shock to me. I went, "Oh, yeah, they're real, and Pa needs to use his gun." I'm explaining that Pa needs to go find food, whatever. But it never occurred to me that she didn't understand that it wasn't she thought they were like a fake thing.
Are you a city person? Because if you're out in the country in Canada, you got to shoot a moose now and again.
True.
I mean, my dad grew up on a farm in Canada. I am Canado-American. My father grew up on a farm in Canada. Now, my mother grew up in the city of Vancouver. No, she never saw a gun. But my father was out shooting ducks and bunnies and deer and what have you, and making dinner. So,
Yeah. I'm so excited for you guys and for us to see this. This is going to be great.
Well, we're all sort of fascinated, and I think what's going to happen is, I think one of the things that we were wondering about as this was coming is, where does the original series sit in this world with the new series? You've got. I think that the Friendlies, who are the owners of the intellectual property here, want to see both projects flourish and survive. And I think they're going to be different enough that they can.
Right.
It can be two different views of the same source material. And it could be, look, we know how people feel about the original Little House that we were involved in. It's continues to run in over 100 countries around the world every day. It's been translated into 40 languages. Last year, it streamed 13.3 billion minutes on Peacock.
Yes.
25,000 years on Peacock last year.
25,000 years.
So it continues to be a very vital, real thing that people love. And that's one of for Alison and I, Alison and me, the gift that Little House continues to be loved and appreciated the way it is a gift that we never could have imagined 40 plus years ago, 50 years ago. We just wouldn't have imagined it. It's been remarkable, and it shows no signs of going away, which is just continues to be this incredible gift.
And the Friendlies who have the rights, they say it all the time. We see ourselves as the guardians of Laura Ingalls' legacy. So it's not the Brady Bunch movie. It's not the Land of the Lost movie. It's not going to go off the rails, because they're like, no, not doing that. It is going to be Little House on the Prairie, and that is that. So they're very strict about that. So don't lose sleep thinking it's going to go weird on us or anything. And the other is, I think they're going to get all these new people, and we were all unknown new people when it started, and they may find, wow, who is the next girl? Melissa Gilbert was like stunning. All of these people. There's going to be some girl who's going to have to be amazing enough to be Laura Ingalls, and they will find her. And so I'm looking forward to that. But how many Star Treks do we have? I mean, we'll always be Shatner and Nimoy. But there's always another Star Trek.
That's true.
That's very true.
It's going to be very true. I'm excited because we can share it with the next generation.
Well, that's it. It's going to be a generational introduction, right? I think that's why it's going to be successful.
And they can eat their hot dog sandwiches while they watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Canadian bacon.
Oh,
Yes.
a good tie up.
She's a pro at that, Kelly.
Oh man, that's
You're welcome.
pro time right there. That's pro time.
But Little House on the Prairie, I don't think they knew of hot dog sandwiches. I don't think Pa was sitting there going, "Let's have some hot dogs."
They did. They made sausages.
Oh,
they made sausage.
They
made
played ball with a pig bladder out in front of the little house. Are you kidding? Of course they knew.
That's true.
Hot dogs were invented in New York.
Yes.
Yeah, they were invented in New York by German immigrants at the original Nathan's, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So so they had sausages though, because it's just a
They
hot dog
had
sauce.
ballpark franks and buns. They had sausage.
That's an extra $2 in Toronto if you want a sausage. So I mean, they had the good
wink.
stuff.
Oh, that kind of sausage. All right. What are we talking about? Okay. Oh, man. This is going to be a spicy season. Listeners, tune in next time when we've got 7 votes so far. Maybe we'll have 22 by next episode. I don't know. Oh, boy.
Well, thanks very much, Dean. Thanks very much, Alison.
Oh, thank you for having us. This is
is
one of the tastiest conversations I've ever been involved.
Order Up is hosted and produced by Matt Ardill,
Mary Kennedy,
Larry Hayne,
Kelly Zemeckis.
and original music is by Rebecca McDonald.